There we are. Hello, everybody. Hold on, let me make sure everything's good. Okay, I can hear myself. Miss Berlin, how are you? Ah, son of a bitch.
Uh-oh.
That's why we can't
Hello?
have nice
Hello? Can
things.
you hear me?
What is going on? Okay, I tested this beforehand. Shut up, Ms.
Sorry,
Berlin.
I was
That you
muted.
did.
Now can you hear
Oh,
me?
I can't hear. Oh, wait. I can't hear. Wait, because I'm
It,
stupid. So,
it was a
why
psyop.
did I turn monitor off on that? Good God. Okay, there you are.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I was muted before, so
Oh.
it may have also been me.
So,
Good one.
uh, I upgraded I upgraded to OBS 30 beta because I'm a glutton for punishment because I was having some issues with my new computer. My camera would just freeze after about 5 to 7 minutes, and it's a new computer, so I'm still figuring out the peccadillos. Come to find out, Windows 11 is super anal about power consumption, and it will just freeze things randomly after a few minutes. So I had to go into like device manager and go down to the USB hub and turn off power management. Like allow this computer to sleep its devices after so many times. So
XP
I
used to
was,
do that. XP
yeah,
did that a lot on
we're
like
back to
mice and
2001.
keyboards and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am Brian Brake. That is Mr. Betcher. And that is Miss Berlin. Sorry, not that. She is Miss Berlin.
Thanks.
That is Miss. He is Mr.
He
Betcher, and
is.
I.
Yes.
That is Brian Brake. So there you go. Yeah,
Yay.
it's been a minute. It's been a minute to see you all. I'm glad we were able to talk a little bit beforehand. We're all dealing with a little bit of different issues at our workplaces, which is great. I won't go into those here, obviously for obvious reasons. We do like Miss Berlin and her company.
We
For
do like our jobs.
we do like our jobs. That's where we get our money and our good food and stuff. So
I did have a couple
um,
people tell me I went to a conference this last week in Arlington, and I had two people come up to me and said they really liked the podcast. So
really, well, that's kind of them. Thank you if you're listening and watching the podcast. Hey, Beta Wolf, thank you for being online. If you're joining us on the chat here, the gauge up in the upper right hand corner is our boss meter, which we use to gauge how people are interacting with us, either with bits or with, cheering us or subscribing to our Twitch stream, which you can go to twitch.tv/breaksec and come and join us. As you do certain activities on our stream, damage will result in the boss, and it will continue to go up, kind of like a video game.
that's what I
Like
was just
more,
gonna ask. Okay, all right.
yeah. So if you
How
do
can I
Twitch bits, like,
influence that?
so you subscribe with your Prime account. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you asked. If you subscribe or you do what have you, or you cheer us with some bits, or you use some of your points in channel, you cause damage to the bad guy, and I can heal it if I want to be a bad guy, but I decide not to. So
All right.
yeah, so we're triple casting this on Twitch, YouTube, and LinkedIn. As if I don't have enough to worry about on a regular basis. But it's going well, and yeah, Miss Berlin, how are you doing? Well, I see pictures of your children online, and it sounds like, and of course, some guy you're hanging out with. Is he okay? Is he all right? Do I need to come over and have
He's
a talk
across
with
the
him?
street drinking, so he's probably pretty great right now.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let him know I've got my eye on him. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway, uh,
That's good.
looks like y'all are having fun anyway. Every time I see you on Facebook, it looks like y'all are having a lot of fun kayaking and antiquing and God knows what else. Whatever you do in Ohio at this
Yeah,
time of
like
year
we kayaked to a deserted island in Lake Erie and took a chair and a skeleton.
on purpose.
So we've been geocaching a lot.
Oh, okay,
My youngest
okay,
really likes geocaching.
okay.
So we've
Okay,
been
what's that?
geocached. So there's an app on your phone that you can get. It was like pre Pokemon Go and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And you can actually hide and find other people's hides of these, they're called caches, where you can hide like little tiny containers or bigger containers, or there are like challenges of things that you have to learn or do, and you follow it with your GPS, and you
Yeah.
have a username, and like you'll follow the clues and find this place with your GPS, and
Right.
you'll find the thing and you'll write your name on the inside. Sometimes you don't find it. But we were recently geocaching in an island in Lake Erie, and we're like, why is there a geocache in the middle of the lake? And we realized there was like an actual kind of island out there. It was called Starve Island.
Starve
Um,
Island.
that there
Okay.
was supposed to be a geocache on, but you can't take a boat there because like you will run aground.
Okay.
So we like put kayaks in a boat and took a boat near it and then kayaked
Okay.
to it, but then also left a skeleton there on a chair because we thought it would be funny because it's called Starve Island, and we attached
Yeah.
all that's there is like 500 seagulls and a bunch of poop and a bunch of dead fish.
Is it
And
seagull poop? Is it seagull
yes.
poop though? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good. All right.
Like everything's coated in white. We did not find the geocache. I'm pretty sure it got like taken away by a storm or something. But we did leave a full-size skeleton in a chair.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
I thought it was funny.
We have when I was walking around in my old place in Seattle, I would come across things that looked like they were trash, and then I guess somebody put up a sign that said, "Hey, this is a geocache" or something like that to make sure that people weren't like fastidious about cleaning up the garbage.
Right.
And yeah, so I thought about doing that because I'd gotten over doing Pokemon Go, and thought, hey, maybe that'd be cool to do.
It's like
Yeah,
hiking with extra challenges.
right, exactly. Hiking with purpose. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't, yeah, it was like Pokemon was it for me. It was like I'm running towards this, YouTube, this Pokemon, this Pikachu or the whatever. But yeah, once the fuzzy animal, digital animals got over it, was not fun. So that'll be kind of cool. So Starve Island, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Very
I guess
fun.
it's not like Iceland or Greenland, where it's a misnomer. Yeah.
No.
Not full of food island, it's you're gonna starve if you're on their island. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You could probably catch a bird, I assume,
Right.
eventually. But
Right. Okay. So I'm
Or a dead fish.
that one. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm still tamping down some of our overlays here. I had a double chat thing on my window there, so it was looking very weird. Hey, Info Sister. She's a moderator as well. Hey, Beta Wolf. So, Mr. Betcher, how you doing? You were up in Vancouver for something we won't discuss, but you were there for business and work. I was like, you're in the wrong place. You were like, hey, I'm going to Vancouver. I was like, that would have been nice if I was still in Seattle. I might have drove up 3 hours to see you. But yeah, if you ever come out to LA or you come out
only
to
3 hours
from Seattle, yeah.
Oh, from Snoqualmie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours. It's actually quite far from Seattle to the border of Canada. And then you have to go through, well, the U.S. is more than willing to let you leave. It's just coming back in that's the long lines. But yeah. I got the most passive aggressive hey possible. Hey, Beta Wolf, I love you, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Walking out your front door, right?
Walking out, yeah, exactly. You go up to the Blaine entrance to Canada, and there are literally houses that are sitting where you could throw a rock and cause an international incident. That's how close some of these folks are, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing to be that close, And then a friend of ours actually lives in what's called an exclave. So to get to his house, which is America, you have to drive up through Canada and then take a small road that goes down into his little area of America. Hold on, I got this.
That seems like poor planning.
Yeah, it has to do with treaties and violations of those treaties. And let me see, exclave, Seattle
Heard of an
area.
enclave.
Yeah, Point Roberts, Washington. So Point Roberts, Washington is what's called an exclave. And putting this up for everybody. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. He has to go into Canada to do so. Yeah, there's a town that's half in Canada and half in America. Come on, Beta Wolf, don't do that to me. Come on now. Really? Can you imagine being at a stop sign and having to go through customs and border protection?
It's probably in Montana and they just don't care.
It's got to be someplace like that where, yeah, it's like, you can step over.
Be in Montana.
Yeah, I believe there's one up in like Minnesota too, where you've got to drive all the way up into Saskatchewan or something to get to that part of Michigan or what have you. It's just really interesting that that kind of thing that comes up. But, yeah. So you were on Miss Berlin, made an appearance on LA radio.
I did. I was very excited.
Like what, AM radio? What are we talking, like sports or traffic?
I sort of fairly well known on LA radio. I have never heard of them before. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. I was talking about Twitter? Yeah, Twitter's policy change. Either like acceptable use policy or like sharing data policy or whatever. On how they changed the fact that they were collecting like bio data where you could like authenticate that you were an actual real person with like pictures of like selfies of yourself or whatever, and that they swore they weren't going to use that for bad things. So I was kind of just happy that I got to say on public radio that you probably shouldn't trust billionaires.
Wow.
Nobody actually sent me any hate mail about hating on Elon Musk, but
okay. Well, that's good.
I'm surprised. It was fun. It was just an audio thing. I guess we have some people working with our marketing team. It's just like, hey, you want to talk on a thing?
Sure.
This thing? I mean, whatever. Yeah.
What could
be on camera?
Right. Was it like a drive time thing where they had like special effects and then you ended up doing all, morning zoo kind of stuff? Oh, okay.
Nope. No. It's just two guys. They seem pretty chill.
Okay. Very nice.
It was fun.
Okay. So we do have some news. We do have some discussions that we want to have. Let me see. Where is... So one of the first things, I think I talked about this earlier in the week, but I think there's been some updates about 23andMe. So, Mr. Betcher, have you ever used 23andMe?
No. But I hear that I don't have to, because like if a distant relative or even close relative uses it, they have all your genes anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
They have 95% of them.
Right. I know that they're using that for things like, law enforcement cold cases and things, where they have DNA, because now we have a better understanding of DNA and not like in the 80s or the late 90s with O.J. Simpson, where it was like, we don't know what DNA is.
Sure it was yours?
Yeah. If it wasn't his DNA, you must let him go away. I don't know what that was, but yeah. So there's a discussion, and I've posted this up on our Twitch stream, so I apologize. I'm actually trying to do things like a real Twitch streamer. Hacker claims 23andMe stole genetic data. Hackers claim, they've stolen genetic data from 23andMe and trying to sell the information online. The thing that I got about it was how cheap they're selling it for. When I was working with...
I'm not surprised.
Really? How come?
I don't know. I don't think data sells for that much anymore. It happens all the time.
Okay, so I get the credit card information stuff is like super cheap. Like you get thousands of credit cards for $20, $30, or maybe not even that much. But this is health data, genetically predisposed stuff. I mean, I guess you're right. It would depend on what kind of data they have. If they're they actually shared. They said 1 million Ashkenazi Jewish people. Yeah, the Ashkenazi database. Yeah, from an anonymous seller, referring to people of Central and Eastern European Jewish heritage. So they have at least one database that they know of, and they have apparently multiple databases for this. But yeah, I don't know. It feels to me that this is maybe not a now crime thing where they could do this, but as we start getting where, you know, this has already been leaked, and it's one of those things where you can't change your genetics yet. According to some transhumanists, you'll be able to eventually, but you can't change this stuff. So if we start doing things like, I don't know, you could use it for like, hey, blood tests, or hey, causing strife, like, you're not really related to your family, you're adopted. I don't know why they would. I don't know why they would try to sell this. I guess it's like, we have this data, we want to sell it, and if it's not going for anything, it may not go right now. But yeah, it's really weird. I guess maybe this is something like 10 years in the future, when everybody's giving out their DNA to be able to log in online. Then this would be more of an issue, I think.
Yeah.
Like, instead of testing your blood sugar, you're actually pricking your finger to log into a computer, right?
God, I hope not. I don't like needles.
Or insert one hair follicle here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's that valuable. When they start breaking down, like, your genes are a program. It's basically the world's most complicated, longest program, right?
Right.
They stretch out your gene, and it goes from here to Pluto, something like that, or circumference of the universe, whatever it is. It's a pretty long program. Once they get all that data, then you can probably start writing viruses for that program, tailor-made to the individual person. So right now, we're in the caveman stages of genetics. So
yeah. You mentioned the vaccines or the viruses or whatever. If I was a less than reputable medical company, or a company that would need to, it's like, I was just talking to some folks.
Pharmaceutical company, right?
A pharmaceutical company, yeah. If I was a company, and I was just talking to some folks last month, you could have a startup medical company with a promising new drug that goes complete to shite, and then it's like the company's gone. Mm-hmm. If you were trying to hedge your bets and make the drug more useful, or figure out areas where certain groups it might be for, or you might have a certain genetic predisposition, it's like, okay, maybe you might take that data and use that data in such a way so that it would, you'd be able to make sure that your drug passed certain requirements. I don't know enough about the genetics and pharmaceutical industry, but having that data seems like that would be something a pharmaceutical company would maybe want. I'm sure that there's definitely some ethics violations there, but I could definitely see that. Law enforcement would like that data, probably, because then they don't have to actually go to 23andMe and submit, warrants for that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here on how I might use it if I was, going to take that data. But yeah, the fact that it was super cheap was interesting. So, but yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more about this, because they are. I don't know if they're a publicly traded company, but we've seen a lot of companies recently that have been dealing with a lot of that, and we may see more, because I don't know. They said, what did they say? Was this was updated? DNA relatives. We take this issue seriously. Yeah. Continue our investigation. Blah blah blah. Okay. So yeah, this article was a little light on details. I think I had one on Tuesday or what have you. Friday, I think Lady P had told me about it, so I had one on Friday. But yeah, we'll probably see more from this. I mean, it also makes your competitors' data somewhat less valuable to them. what if your family uses one and you use another, then you're now sharing the same data sets or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, um,
So
yeah,
any way do we know how or by what method they got reached?
I
How
didn't
did they
see
do it? Was it
anything.
phishing? Was it they
I saw
here's
more
the
on MGM than I have on them.
open RDP?
Yeah, I just pulled up the dark reading article. They said, hold on, let me put that into the chat here. Convert data 23andMe confirmed the data is legitimate. That's interesting. Stated the threat actors use exposed credentials from other breaches. That's the thing I was trying to remember. They used
Okay.
password reuse.
Reusing passwords and not having two-factor authentication, potentially.
Right,
All the
right,
time. All the
right.
time.
Yeah.
It's great to have, it's great to have 2FA if people will actually use it. I think I have mine on right now, but there won't be any real consequences to this though to the company. Beta Wolf, why do you say that? Beta Wolf is on chat here, so I'm trying to figure out why he believes there won't be any
Well, most companies can force 2FA though.
That's true.
Right.
I heard something. I cannot remember who said it this last week. Might have been Andrew Morris. I don't know. Someone was talking about two-factor auth and multi-factor auth, and how that's not enough really anymore, and how Google
Right.
does it, right? Like Google, like anytime you try to log into something that you've not before, or on a different device, or re-auth on an old device or anything, like
Right.
it pops up. It's very intense, right? They
Right.
have their shit locked down, so you're not able to do necessarily what you need to do with just another, like just one other push or one other whatever. Like you have to already be in another app logged in with multi-factor auth to use that to auth to something else. It's just like a spider web of auth, right? Yeah, I kind of like that explanation of it.
Yeah. So, Amanda, you know that thing we talked about earlier when you said people said you were too quiet on the stream?
Right. I don't get it. Like, you guys think I'm loud, right? Like, I'm normal sounding.
To be fair, I probably could have turned down the audio on my earbud. So I've dropped it. It's actually a 70. So because I'm an old man and I have tinnitus, so pop the gain just a couple of like, little bits.
I'm almost to 10.
There you go.
Yeah, don't go to 10.
Almost to 10. Almost. And it's still green. No, now it's red. Like depending on how loud I talk, like it gets red.
I'm going to turn down the gain on the Zoom bit here, but yeah, you're good now. Everybody's about into the yellow/reddish area, so I just need to put a compressor and stuff on there. I had no time to do that, so thank you.
I'm going to start wearing a lapel.
Well, you could get you a lapel mic. Shure makes a pretty decent lapel mic. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I have to say my AirPods work better than anything else that I've bought, which is ridiculous.
Really? Yeah, I've had good experience with this one. This is a Trend Net, and it's got a really nice a microphone on it.
AirPods you can't see. Really?
I don't have AirPods. I'm old, so yeah, I can't justify the expense of AirPods. I can't.
Oh, I bought mine used.
Oh.
Back Market's the best. I buy all my Apple products. I buy all my Apple products used. Yeah. Back Market.
Okay. Back Market. Okay. See, I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone. It's an iPhone SE that I just use for my AirTags. Works really good when I remember to charge it. So. Yeah. But so one of the other things, and they mentioned this in the dark reading article. Apparently, this is not the first biotech company that's been hit in the last year. So there was another company 2.5 million people were impacted by something called the Enzo Biochem data leak after a ransomware attack. Social security numbers, protected information. So if this might have been like 2.5 million people who were involved in a case study or a medical trial or something like that. So they're a life sciences and molecular diagnostic company in New York, clinical research services, and developing products such as DNA tests. Okay, so they're another one. So this is not the first time that a DNA type company has been hit this year, which is very interesting. It's like people are trying to gather all that information, especially on US Americans, because that's, I would say, the majority of the people being tested by these things. So maybe it's just data hoarders who are,
like, why? Like, I find my DNA profile interesting, right? Like, it's health information. It's like all of these things. Like, that's interesting.
Right.
How do you exploit that? Other than if you're trying to hide something, you're trying to hide the fact that you're related to somebody or whatever. Like, how? Like, I feel like if I thought about it for a while, I could find some kind of exploitation of that data, but at scale, how are you gonna, like, maybe if that's like a targeted thing, but
well, if you can find out something about someone, and then you could what's the word? You call them,
super lolly,
say, hey, I know, pay me or I'll tell everyone.
Yeah, that's very targeted. Like, normally you think if you do that, you are trying to do some kind of mass use of that data.
Right.
If you're going to blackmail, if you are going to, like, find something on somebody, like, that's super targeted.
I'll tell your family that you're at high risk for, bone cancer or whatever it is.
Right.
It's like, what are you going to do?
Okay, cool.
So
you're going to tell my family that I'm mostly European. Like, great. Thanks.
So I'm going on the next limb here.
Oh, your ancestors owned slaves. You're a bad person.
Yeah.
You know what? You could do some
genetic code.
You joke. I'm not saying you joke about the slavery thing, but you could do something like that too, right? You could say, you're not the father of your children, or
if you find something like that.
How do you do that? You don't do that in bulk.
Right. It would be ultra targeted, right? So you get somebody important enough. Let's say, I don't say President Biden's family members have done that, and it's like, news has leaked that President Biden's genetic family heritage, predisposes him to having dementia. It may be not true. I don't know.
Big surprise, though.
All that's the kind of disinformation. I mean, technically, you don't even need data to spread that kind of disinformation.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I mean, there's
3 generations. Once removed, there was incest in your family.
Wow. I live in the Midwest, so
my whole dad's family is from West Virginia. So,
do you have webbed toes?
It's there somewhere. No, I don't.
It's more of a family pole than a tree.
I try not to look into it too deep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, my only other thing was, at some point, what if somebody could clone me?
Then I would get twice as much work done.
What if my clone was evil? What if it had a little no goatee, and it's like evil Brian?
For sure.
Right. Exactly.
You definitely kill the clone first.
Yeah.
Like that episode of Star Trek where there was Bizarro Spock.
Yeah, mirror. But Spock had a goatee. I have a goatee. My evil twin would not have a goatee.
Would my evil clone have a goatee?
I think that's the rule. I think that's the rule. Right. You're gonna have to have like a little mustache, and you'll have to wear a nice sash along your side here. Kind of a nice sash. You should just draw yours in, and then when they clone, they can
markers.
There you go. That's right. But yeah, so I don't know what's to come of this data. Maybe we'll find out. It's obviously not the first company they've hit that's had this issue. So they're collecting. I mean, the first one in June, they collected Social Security numbers for some reason. You would think this data would be anonymized, but we just collect Social Security numbers for shits and giggles. It makes me wonder if you could just punt and put 000 000 000 in there. Yeah. That's Brian Betcher down there on the bottom. I'm Brian Brake.
We're just talking
He's
about
Brian
floating Brian's.
Yeah. We had problems where we used to work because he'd like, oh yeah, I'll just call you BB, and I was like, hi, I'm BB, and he's BB, and she's AB, and so yeah. It got weird with our bosses and stuff.
It gets real. So my boyfriend's name is Matt.
Right.
My CTO's name is Matt, and his wife's name is Amanda.
Oh, okay.
So
when he
neither
says,
of us
"Hey,"
can talk about our spouses at work,
right,
without saying,
right.
Yeah, it gets difficult.
It makes sense. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, not to go back to the June vulnerability with Enzo Biochem, but they said that companies like Enzo are a critical component in the fight against cancer and other viral and bacterial diseases. So, sensitive data. They're monitoring people's health information. They'll be, So, there's a lot going on here. It may not be the last one. I don't know how they found out or how 23andMe let people know. If they're not publicly traded, then they don't need to do the SEC filing.
I never got anything.
Yeah. I think I have 23andMe as well. Come to find out, I am just Northwest European descent. I'm not.
Most of us are.
Well, I was told stories growing up that my grandmother's grandmother was like full-blooded First Nation Cherokee, and
someone did that for a college application.
It was either that or it was we were stupid and ignorant back then. So the reason I did it was because my wife heard the same story, and I was like, "There's no way both of us can have the same kind of thing." It's like that means we're probably cousins or something. We should probably look into that. But we're both not First Nations of the First Nations, and we're fine. Yes, Beta Wolf. Holy shit, I am in fact white. Do not adjust your cameras.
I'm sorry, all of us are.
Onto something else, which is a bit more funny. I can't find cat litter for my cats, and we looked all over the place in San Diego, and our cat litter is gone. There's none in Costco. Apparently, my wife went to ask the guy at Costco, and he's like, "Yeah, we're out." So it's like,
and it's just like your brand. It's like the brand
my specific,
you normally get.
The Fresh Step kitty litter, and of course, anybody who has cats, no, you can't just drop down a fresh set of litter from some other company because the cats tend to not like it, and then your house becomes the litter box. Right?
Like, what the hell is this crap?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, kind of. Yeah. So, if you're putting down some flavor crystals or not flavor crystals, but, the crystals for, absorbing odor or whatever, and all of a sudden you're going to something that's completely different, or, you're using that biodegradable pine wood shit, they're not going to like it. So we're looking all over Hell's Half Acre for that and can't find it. And at the same time, I'm researching, I'm like, oh, wow, Clorox got owned. Clashing of worlds here. Apparently, the kitty litter shortage is due to a ransomware attack caused by the Clorox from the Clorox company. So there is a shortage. There is a shortage of cat litter due to Clorox being owned because they had a ransomware attack, and their factory shut down. And the only place that makes Fresh Step cat litter is in West Virginia. So for the whole nation, apparently. You can't find cat litter of certain varieties right now in America.
Wow, single point of failure.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
exactly.
You don't think of single point of failure. I mean, maybe manufacturing people do, but maybe they don't. Like in this case, they probably didn't. Like, should you have like multiple facilities doing the same thing on different tech stacks? on different machinery, maybe. Like, I
Yep.
don't know. Like, it's a very, very weird single
Yeah.
point. But then again,
Yeah.
like, you think about the cost of all of that and the maintenance and the overhead and all of that. Like, is it worth
Yeah.
it?
Or
Or are
at
they
least have
just
another
Yep.
facility ready to go,
sure?
just in case. Like maybe they have just a storage of enough merchandise to get them going
Yeah,
while
Right.
you divert shipments over to that other
right.
facility. Even though they're
Yep.
manufacturing something else, they have the capabilities.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Kind
No.
of like in World War
Yep.
II, where the Ford Motor Company started producing tanks, right, instead of cars.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. So the interesting thing about this one is this happened in, let me see, according to the Washington Post, this attack was discovered in mid-August, according to regulatory filing this week. Which, if you've been following my stream, I did an interview with Nicole Sundin, and I think it was on our last audio podcast as well. Talked about the SEC filings for material events, which is a new thing that the government has instituted from the SEC. Any publicly traded companies now have to file in their 8K and some other paperwork if they've had events of cybersecurity, and kind of trying to prove that they had controls in place and what have you for a reasonable event. So according to this SEC filing, which you can get free and publicly, which is what a lot of news companies are now doing, because you have to file these. It's not like every year, like a 10K filing. It's like you file this when you're done, or when you say, oh, there's a problem. We've had a problem. Now we have to go and let them know in a certain amount of time. So they say the cybersecurity attack damaged portions of the company's IT infrastructure, which caused wide-scale disruption to Clorox operations. The company is repairing the infrastructure and reintegrating the systems that were proactively taken offline. Company expects to begin process of transitioning back to normal automated order processing the week of September 25th. So this is, they're getting back to it. It's mid-October now by the time y'all listen to this.
Right.
We actually put in an order on Amazon for some litter. They said it was supposed to be here by the 12th. Otherwise, we're going to have to, get some kitty litter. We're already got a plan in to kind of slowly introduce it in, but it's like, you just can't go cold turkey on these punks. They'll shit all over your house.
Become a prepper?
I'll just hold them out the window until they go. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll just hold them out the window until they go, and then I'll just let them go. So it'll be fine.
No, I have to say, like, if you're a prepper and if a cat is in your plan, you're probably doing it wrong.
Right, exactly. You need something to eat the rats. That's right. You need something to eat the rats. So
yeah.
The other thing that was interesting is they said they were in the middle of a $500,000 upgrade in their system, or $500 million upgrade in their systems. This hit at a really bad time for them. So
is it $500 million like replacing an entire plant? Like, that's
I think they were
money.
Yeah, I think they were updating like systems and IT and stuff like that. So where the hell did that say that? Cat litter shortages. I can't find that anywhere. I read that I think I may have closed the browser tab. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's not it either. Okay. Yep. No, those are my slides for the boot camp. Okay. So yeah, they said it. They were in the process of making like a $500 million upgrade. The problem I have with this picture is that cat is not going to be playing its litter box like that. No normal cat will be playing.
I really hope not.
Not showing their belly inside the litter box. That's just, it's not happening, right?
I've never seen a cat play like that.
That's a damaged cat. Yeah, that's a damaged cat.
It's broken.
Yeah. So they're working on this. Their stock took a 2% hit, according to them, which is fairly big for them. According to that, it said like five-year low on financial hit from cyber attack.
I mean, that's less than MGM though, right?
Yeah. It says they were down 8.1% on Thursday.
A killing during the pandemic. I mean, everybody was bleaching like their walls.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they made out like bandits, and now they're lower than what they were before.
They were down 8%. So, but yeah, so they.
Yeah, MGM went from 37 to.
Okay, so yeah, they went from 156 on what day is this? Looks like just a little after September. They're down at $125 right now. So if you're looking for a deal, go hit that. And they do dividends, so that might be something you want to look at.
This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
I mean,
I'm not your financial advisor.
For a very long time, that was my investing strategy.
Yeah, I have a lot of stock that do dividends as well. So yeah, do your due diligence. Their P&E, their PE is 106, which isn't bad. So yeah, but anyway, welcome. What's that guy's name? Kramer? What's that? Something on CNBC? Yeah, something? Yeah, Kramer. Something.
Jim Kramer.
Not Beta Wolf. That I am not Brian Bitcoin Break. Ugh. Do not encourage him, Amanda.
Sorry.
Do not encourage him.
Sorry.
Oh my God. But yeah, it's just interesting the supply chain there. It's like, oh, Clorox, you wouldn't think cat litter.
Oh, geez. When did they get? Hey, hang on. When did they get breached?
Who Clorox? I think they said beginning of September.
Mm-hmm.
August 14th. Sorry, August 14th. Clorox said it took some systems offline after unauthorized activity disrupted operations. And they said first quarter results could see a material impact.
It was disclosed in September, I think.
Yeah, that's when their stock went down.
I'm looking
right?
at the chart.
Yeah.
I can't see myself here. Okay. So I'm looking at the chart. Check that out.
I'm looking at the chart too. Right. I'm looking at the chart too. And September, like right after the 1st of September, their stock just went and it pooted all the way down for the whole month of September. Too. Oh yeah. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah. It went from 165, something like that, down to 149. Yeah, about 165 down to 149, and then it went back up, and then it's like, oh crap, we have to notify people, and so yeah, about down to 125.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe somebody knew. Maybe they let their shareholders know, or maybe they kept it under wraps. But then when they had to file this thing with the SEC, which is the new bit that they have to do to show material impact, which is what Reuters mentioned in their article. They said this was a material impact. They had to notify the SEC. So, yeah. But that's interesting. So yeah, it's not just Clorox wipes. You've got all kinds of Clorox products that they make have been impacted by this. So yeah, kind of interesting to see all those things and how they're connected that way.
Oh, here's an article. Clorox will eventually get insurance payments for cyber attack. Really? Will they?
Eventually? Well, yeah, they have to. They have to prove to the insurance company that they're doing due diligence and due care. Now they're going to have to prove their capabilities to the SEC because that's a new thing. Where's that material? SEC material impact. Let's see. Yeah, SEC adopts rules. So they say when a company loses a factor in a fire, it may be material to investors. Currently, many public companies provide cybersecurity disclosure to investors. I think investors and companies would benefit if this disclosure is made more consistent, comparable, in a decision-useful way. Now, when they say material impact, the idea is as a normal person like us, well, like you two, would that affect your decision to buy stock in Clorox? And if they can say that in a concise way, or if they can say that yes, this would have affected their decision to go, instead of Clorox, they would go to some other company. That is what they consider to be kind of a material impact, and that's why they have to do that. So they say new rules will require registrants to disclose on new item 105 8K any determined to be material and to describe the material aspects of the nature, scope, and timing, as well as material impact or reasonably likely material impact on the registrant. The disclosure may be delayed if the United States Attorney General determines immediate disclosure would pose a substantial risk to national security. So Lockheed Martin or, those. So we won't find out about Lockheed Martin vulnerability until somebody on the bad net, the dark side net, tells everybody about that stuff. So switching to Moonshine, Beta Wolf, that's probably better. It's probably instead, well, not kitty litter. I don't think he's talking about that. But I think the Clorox wipes was. I think he was talking about the Clorox wipes being more antiseptic. Moonshine would probably be better instead of bleach, right? Yeah, at least with the Moonshine though, you can drink it when you're done, and it won't make you go blind. So that's not the good stuff.
Depending on the Moonshine,
not the good stuff anyway.
You got to look for the blue flame.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The blue flame means it's good. Blue flame equals no blindness. Roger that. Okay, let's mark that one down. Blue flame equals no blindness. Right. Yeah. So.
Hey. Hey, but their cybersecurity should get really good in the next couple of years. I mean, look at Target. When they got breached, then maybe a year and a half later, they had like world-class SOC.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Just got to bide their time. But I wonder how much, what percentage of their EBITDA went to cybersecurity. I'd like to know. We're never gonna know, but I mean,
wait.
Let's take some guesses and reasons why.
The audio may have cut out there. You said EBITDA. Is that a real word?
Yes, earnings.
I don't know what that is either. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Earnings before interest, taxes, and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
All right.
Okay.
I learned something new today.
I'm not a day trader. I don't know.
Day trader.
I look for PE. I look for dividends, and it's like, go. Make it happen. And then it falls 10% the next day, and I'm like, no. So, but yeah.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Okay.
Interesting. Assets, but amortization seems better.
Amortization, yeah.
How much should they have spent on security?
As much as it needs to. See, we're running into weird.
Depends on the company.
Yeah.
So that's the question, right?
Do you think they have a SIM?
If I'm sure they had a SIM, but I don't know if they had a SIM.
Yeah.
Very common.
It's a broad definition, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, it's a question, right, that all CISOs are faced with. Like, are we spending enough on security? What percentage of our company's income or expenditures really, or what percentage of IT spend goes to security, right? Maybe a better question. And what's the industry standard for, let's say, a tech company or a company like Clorox, right?
Yeah. Well, the one rule of thumb,
5%? Is it 10?
Yeah, the one rule of thumb I've always heard is just a little bit better than the guy behind you. It's like, the bear's going to get the slowest person. You just have to be the second slowest. So I don't know how that's going to work for security, but it's like you only need to do as much as your competitors are, plus just a little bit extra, which is sad. So, I mean, I don't know how you codify that.
Been there for 2.5 months. Or sorry, 2.5 years.
Okay, I was going to say 2.5 months. That would explain why, new hire right after the breach. Yeah.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Well, you could look at it different. Oh, he's been there 2.5 years. What the hell?
He's been there for
He should have had time.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot there. The more I see higher ups in my in orgs, CISO really doesn't have much control over the controls that are happening underneath. They may drive things.
Sadly, no.
They may drive things, but either they're having to deal with the messaging coming from above, or they're the marketing arm of the company talking about how awesome their security is and being thought leaders, which doesn't help the rank and file IT and security folk.
She's had a really good, she's been in IT since 2001.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting the CISO of Clorox.
IT manager, server infrastructure. IT
That's
security
good.
operations for Kellogg's.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
directory of SecOps in Walgreens. Yeah, she's got like a great resume.
Nice.
But
Maybe
like you look at Clorox, like a huge company.
right.
Like you could go into somebody that's on fire and after 2.5 years still have barely scratched the surface.
Right. Right. You're in M&A hell, right? I mean, you're not
Yeah.
you're not a, not to use the Halloween thing, but it's a Frankenstein's monster of
Yeah.
companies cobbled together into this one super being,
Yeah.
that, the arm may not work all the time, or, that the head is sometimes disconnected from the rest of the body. You've got different
Yeah.
parts of the body that are in better shape than others. The core Clorox may be solid as F, but, you've got the M&A stuff you're coming in
Yep.
that is, there's a security drought as well, as you're going to find with some companies that have had numerous M&As. It's like this company over here has one IT person and no security people, while some other place you've M&A'd has, a complete SOC, and they're using a Blumera.
And they want
and
those
they've got,
M&As to go so fast
Right.
because the business relies on it
Right. Right.
that they only
Right.
kind of like slip the IT and security stuff under the radar.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember like really, really big company that was doing M&As like a couple every quarter, and just from a networking perspective, it was a giant disaster,
Right.
and
Right.
that wasn't
And
even considering security stuff.
right. And the M&As are not going to go, oh, well, their IT sucks and their security's not good. We're just not going to M&A with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like, you're going to fix it.
It would
later.
have to be. It would like. I don't know. I've not. Have you guys ever seen anyone do like legit due diligence when doing an M&A?
Yes.
We had Rando on talking. We had Rando coming on talking about this I'm going to say a couple years back. We came on and talked about M&A stuff. Maybe good to have him back on again to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a significant amount of
investment. Yes.
Yeah, investment,
Right.
and like they have to be real messed up for that
Right.
M&A to not go through.
Right. Now we have seen where M&As, where like Yahoo and Verizon, where Yahoo was completely owned and they lost, they didn't have to pay out as much. Verizon didn't have to pay out as much for Yahoo stuff. So there is some diligence.
To the previous board of directors.
Right, exactly.
Depends on how good the CISO is. I've seen an acquisition was denied by the security team.
Really?
And they gave a great presentation. And
that's good though.
Like, the company said, okay, we won't take them. It's too risky. We will not acquire this company because
that's real
of security
surprising.
reasons. I've seen that happen once.
Yeah.
And then I've seen a company do acquisitions that really took security very, very seriously, and they didn't suck the company into the mothership. They used basically Citrix or whatever. Like, you're not accessing anything in the company without going through this wall of separation here.
Right.
And once you pass all these tests, which took years, then they could finally be sucked into the mothership. But yeah.
Wow.
And if you don't, some companies that they acquired took them 5 years or even more. They had
good due diligence though. Yeah.
Using that. Yeah.
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 So it can be done, but it just depends on how good the security team is and how much sway they have.
Yeah, I was gonna say how much backing they have, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sway is it's not just that the company leadership, the business leadership takes it seriously. It's, can they convince the business leadership that they need to take this seriously and present the risks to them? Because executives, they understand risk. You just have to present it to them in a way that I guess in a good way, that's truthful and is at their level. You can't just say, well, they can run Mimikatz and do this and that. Yeah,
like that doesn't mean anything to them.
They have to want to care though. I mean, you can give them as much, argument about,
Oh, but
hey,
they're going to care because I mean they're executives. They care about the company, the success of the company. And if you present to them an extreme risk when it comes to an acquisition, they're going to listen.
Mm-hmm. But you
right,
can't always cry wolf either, right? If you're in the business
Right.
of always being that group or that person that's doing the due diligence, you can't be like, oh, this is shit and that's shit and this shit. Like you can never acquire a good
right,
enough company.
Right.
Like you
right,
But
actually have
that's on
to,
the security leadership team
right,
to get it right.
right,
right. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
You have to be smart about it.
yep.
yep. So talking about incidents and security breaches and everything, MGM Resorts estimate they lost $100 million from the cyber attack that led to the breach. 100 million in
Yep.
probably lost time and effort, and have my guess is they also paid out to get their data back. So they said
Did they?
reservations,
I thought
casino
they didn't, at
floors.
least for a while.
Yeah, they said
Definitely did at the beginning.
yeah, others because they had, this affected other states, not just Vegas. So reservations, casino floors in Vegas and other states were affected. Social media and about customers shared social media about not being able to take credit card transactions or obtaining money from cash machines or entering hotel rooms. So they had a 10-day computer shutdown on September 20th. So nothing was going on during that time.
Did you read the release from the attacker?
No, I did
No.
not. I heard there was an interview or something. I was like, I don't want to read.
There is an open letter that they had released, and it was sad but funny because
Yeah,
like sitting here reading it, like the way they put it was very snarky.
yeah,
But then like if that was your company or you were involved in any way, it was terrible, right? Like
right.
you would never want to be in that position. But they were just talking about the lack of knowledge of how their network works and just that they did not have their communication channels correct and they had no real idea of what actually was going on. It was very interesting to read.
See, I wonder if the SEC, when they have to get these 8K filings from these companies now because it's a material event, will they take that stuff into account if that kind of additional evidence comes up where it's like, oh, you filed this and you said everything's hunky-dory and we've got all these things in place.
Yeah.
We have this thing from the hackers that said
Yeah.
you didn't do A, B, C, and D. So we need to see A, B, C, and D. We need to see
Proof.
other things. We need to get
Yeah.
deeper in your we need to crawl up in you like a tauntaun and figure out what's going on there.
Right?
Man,
Like Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah. I can't imagine working an incident that large.
no, I can't either.
Wow.
That's a lot of sleepless nights, or sleep
Yeah, that's
filled horror
don't wish
night
that on
things.
anybody.
So,
I
yeah.
heard that, if you were playing the slots during this breach and you won like something and they had to send a guy with a clipboard and say, oh, okay, how much did you win? $120. Okay. And then they're like, giving them the change.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Just all
here's an
pen and
IOU
paper.
on a sticky note. Tell them I said.
Yeah.
Well, the other
All
thing is
pen
the
and
points
paper.
programs. The points programs were done
Yeah.
were messed up too. So anything you were doing during that time,
Could you imagine
gone.
if that happened during DEF CON?
Well, some people, there was a conspiracy nut on Twitter that was, or X, whatever, X Twitter was saying, well, that was like 2 weeks after the hacker conference there. Oh, that guy was like, yeah, okay,
I think it has nothing to do with that.
yeah, yeah. It's been a minute since we've talked. I don't think we've talked about your Vegas adventure, Ms. Berlin. Did you have fun in Vegas? I think you showed up about the time that I was heading to the airport. I was only there for a couple days, so I mean it's been a minute, but
I was there.
right.
It was okay. Like DEF CON's one of those places that you go and see it just because it's so large and there's so many people there and there's so much stuff to do and it's very overwhelming. Even I've been going for 9 years now, I think, and it's very overwhelming just because of how large it is. And there's so much. There's just huge footprint.
Right.
I did less this year because we didn't do anything for mental health hackers because I'm tired of not getting accepted. And it's very expensive to do something on your own.
Right.
But it was interesting. I went to a couple villages. They had a really cool IoT escape room. That was neat. I didn't get to see it until the end, but they had it was a very neat concept. They had a really good name for it, and I can't remember it now either. But yeah, there was a lot of really, really cool stuff, just like, I mean, there always is. And then they had the whole like evacuation, which was interesting.
Right. I was sitting ensconced on my couch and reading this on X Twitter, like, oh, DEF CON's really canceled. So I was like, wow, the first time I go to Vegas ever, and it's the first time ever that, it really, something bad did happen.
I was not happy, I guess. I don't know. I was, after you realized it wasn't a real thing. Right. I was kind of happy, I guess, because I'm a photo goon, and I got a picture of the dog laying next to the box that made everybody have to leave.
Oh, right.
And I thought they were training the dog.
Right.
Like, I thought it was like an exercise. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, they're training the dog. I'm going to take a picture. And I have a really good picture of this dog just like looking back at its owner next to the box. And then I found out that like that was the box that made everybody have to leave. I'm like, oh shit.
I figured it was, some normie found a Wi-Fi pineapple and shit themselves, and with all the little antennae come off the back of it and everything. So that was what I thought it was.
No, it was a box of swag that had gunshot residue on it from somebody that had shot guns earlier on that day or that week or whatever and hadn't washed their hands.
And lucky the drug sniffing dog happened to point on it, and that was all she wrote.
And the person forgot the box there and left it and walked away, and it was just like a box of swag.
I went with I met a bunch of coworkers, and it was like the day I was supposed to leave. They were going out to the gun range to shoot a 50 cal and a bunch of other things, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to spend $250 for like 50 rounds of bullets.
Well, they have the DEF CON shoot every year.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I didn't actually go to DEF CON, and I actually didn't have a ticket for Black Hat, so I just kind of meandered around the lobby for Black Hat. I may get a ticket next year for DEF CON. I don't know.
The DEF CON shoot, you don't need a DEF CON ticket. You can just show up, and there's like 200 people in the middle of the desert usually like shooting their own guns that they've like traveled across the country with.
See, there's the problem. Yes, I do not have armament of any kind other than my. You
also don't need it. So. You can show up with like $100 or $20 or whatever, and you can walk. And there's different tents that they'll say you can come up and like talk to them about their guns and shoot their stuff, and you just like give them a couple bucks for ammo. Or there's other tents that's like, no, leave me alone. Don't take my picture. I'm here just to do my own stuff. Right. Yeah. So they're very welcoming. I've been there. I went there 4 or 5 years in a row. And they have like cannons, and they have like it's like kind of a potato gun that shoots out cans of pop at things. Like it's very interesting.
Okay.
So
I've gone a couple times. Mr. Betcher and I have gone and shot his armament, his weapons, and I did pretty good on my first try. Probably be a little better now. I got a little more upper body strength, whatever. But I wouldn't mind doing it. I have no problems doing it. I live in California though, so I don't know what our laws are like over here for weaponry of any kind. But there was just a lot going on there.
There is.
Just
You
in
have to pick a couple things.
Yeah, the Black Hat area that I went to over there, I got to see a couple of folks. Alan Friedman, we've had him on about the S-bomb stuff.
He's great.
He was about to go to a vendor table, and I was walking, just meandering around, and I saw him sitting down. And I went over and I said, "Hey, hi, I'm Brian. You came on our show. It was great to see you." And I was like, "I'm going to watch for body language of like he's tired of talking to me, and I want him to go away." And I knew what it was. I was like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm working on some S-bomb stuff." He's, "Oh, that's great." And then it's like he looked at his phone. I was like, "That's one." And we talked a little bit more, and then he looked at his phone again, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's time to go." And so but yeah, I didn't want to monopolize his time because I think he was taking a break between having to walk in 300-degree weather to the Mandalay Bay, because I think he was over at B-Sides Las Vegas doing their setup and everything, and he had to come and man a vendor booth. So I was like, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you've got some downtime and whatever. But yeah, I had to. I wanted to make sure I read the room with him and didn't overstay my welcome. But it was good to see him. And yeah, I saw a handful of other folks. Actually, saw a couple friends of mine I used to work with at Leviathan, which was pretty awesome. It was a good time for the event that I was there for. We're going to have to do that again next year. So I will be in Vegas, and I'll just make sure that I have a DEF CON ticket. I stayed at the Luxor, so I didn't have to worry about bed bugs or Legionnaire's disease. So that was nice.
Right? See, that's why I always pick an Airbnb. Airbnb with a handful of friends. I don't have to worry about people breaking indoors, Legionnaire's disease, bed bugs.
What? The bed bugs are like souvenirs. You can take those home with you.
No, I'm fine. I don't want that.
No. What? Wow.
Like
that's awful
mattress.
Negative of you.
I like my mattress.
That's like swag that you don't have to worry about carry on or anything.
Are they DEF CON branded bed bugs? Because I feel
that's right. Yeah, they know Trevor, so they know Trevor. Trevor Forget, Yeah. So, oh, by the way, you see that right there?
Is that Trevor?
That's Trevor. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them from DerbyCon that I've got up on the wall there. So.
Almost forgot about Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor. Yeah,
Never, Trevor Forget.
Trevor Forget. Yeah. Oh man. Awesome, yeah. I do miss DerbyCon. I wish, I understand why it went away. It was probably time for it to go. Like Seinfeld, everybody, it went away at its height. Everybody was wanting it to stay, but
I did go to a good conference last week. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Lima Charlie?
Lima Charlie. I've heard of Lima Charlie. Yes. Okay.
So
the company. Yeah.
Yeah. They're who we do our endpoint agent stuff through.
Right.
And phenomenal people, very small company still, but they have an amazing product. I don't know sales for them or anything. But they did their first conference in Arlington. It was called Mission Control. And they had the IR lead guy from CISA and Andrew from Gray Noise, and I spoke, but not on anything super cool. And they had a lot of really, really good talks. It was just like a day and a half, but it was very chill.
I know. Thanks, Mubix. Thanks for the hydration notification. Yeah. So appreciate you. I got to go next year to Vegas for that thing that I did this year. So I'll probably be there again, and I'll make sure that the company actually buys me a DEF CON ticket and a hotel room. Got to hang out with Whitey Cracker. I actually got to cross off a bucket list item. I was Whitey Cracker's entourage for about 30 minutes.
Super cool.
So yeah, good dude. Good dude. Got to hang out with him. I got lost. I took a left because somebody was like, "Hey, Brian, how you doing?" I was like, "I'm in Vegas. Nobody knows who the fuck I am." And they're like, "Oh, I really love the podcast." And I was like, "Hey, yeah, no, great." And I was like, I have to go. But I'm appreciative. Thank you so much for enjoying the podcast." And I turned around and Whitey was gone. Aww. And so I reached out. I said, "Yeah, he's a good dude. He's an awesome dude." But yeah, it was not to name drop or anything. But yeah, it was a good time. We hung out. I went through Caesars, had dinner, and then yeah, I just kind of got lost and had to walk all the way back because the road construction was just horrendous. So I had to walk all the way from Caesars back to Mandalay Bay / Excalibur / Luxor at like 11 o'clock at night. So it was fun. So yeah, but Mr. Betcher, you should come with me next year. We should do something next year. We'll be room buddies. You're about as close as I am. No, you like the old days, right? You be Big Spoon, I'll be Little Spoon. It'll be nice. Don't look at me like
Very
that,
nice.
Miss Berlin. You're just jealous.
You're
jealous of what we have.
Makes you happy.
You're jealous of what we have. But yeah, it's it was a good time. It was very busy, but it was good. It was good to hang out. I actually saw Josh Sokol as well. We had a good discussion about simple risk stuff. So he's doing very happy, doing very well with what he's doing. So
yeah, I met him at B-Sides Austin this year.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah. So anyway, I'll let everybody go. Miss Berlin, why don't you tell people how they can get a hold of you?
I don't know anymore. Like I think like one of the last times we spoke,
LinkedIn.
I was very LinkedIn. Like very
LinkedIn.
weird. Very
LinkedIn's
weird.
The new
but
hotness.
On LinkedIn more than anything else. LinkedIn, or I guess you have my cell phone number.
Oh, I do actually.
There you go.
Yeah, I think the new hotness is this thing called blogs, where you actually write things and people go to your webpage and do stuff with
like I do that and I just give it to my marketing people and then they finish it and put it
somewhere. La-ti-da, I just give it to my marketing people.
I mean, it's way easier than making it look nice and doing it.
I just run it through ChatGPT a couple of times and
No, it's a terrible idea. Although I have found ChatGPT writes better than some third-party vendors.
Oh my God, I could tell you about a book I've been technically reviewing that probably could have used a ChatGPT. Yeah. Yeah. So go find Miss Berlin on LinkedIn. Mr. Betcher, how about you? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you have skewed all social medias? Yes, you're on LinkedIn, or yes, you've. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's fair.
On LinkedIn.
Okay. All right. I'm checking Mastodon. I'm still on YouTube. I'm not YouTube. I'm still on X Twitter. I'm not following it as much, but yeah, I'm over there. You can join our Discord if you want to join our Discord. We have code of conduct. We have all kinds of fun stuff going on over there. We have a Slack. You can join us on Slack. There's a link that I can get you. I think I have a Bitly link now for it. Let me see. Bitly. I created one for our CISSP. Yeah, there it is. bit.ly.com /breaksec Slack. You can go join that. I think that link's good for another 10 days or so. We have a moderated channel. It's code of conduct on both sites because we care about professional acting people. So you can go check that out. Yeah. Tell your friends if you found value in our discussion today. And, follow us on Twitch. You can do that with Amazon Prime for nothing, and we get a kickback for that. Or you can, subscribe and gift out as much as you'd like. Thanks to Beta Wolf and Mubix and Super Lolly and InfoSister and Lady P for everybody coming on. Yeah, Lady P is awesome, and the Mubix. But yeah, thanks to everybody who came on and hung out with us on Twitch. And I'll be back on Tuesday. We'll probably have some more news, more discussion. And Fridays, we're doing, create an OS with Rust. I create an OS with Rust. It sometimes works. Yeah, I know, right?
Nice.
We're following. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Isil Shah 314. Thank you for coming and hanging out. So yeah, that's it for our show this week. Our stream tonight. Hope you have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another. Look out for yourself. We're all just trying to do what we can here. So make sure that you have do what you can to seek help if you need it. So And again, be kind to everyone else. And as we're fond of saying, take care of yourself because you're the only you have. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.